Hello and happy Thursday. I'm a little giddy today because originally pre-COVID I was supposed to have flown out to Salt Lake City and taken part in their conference that they have for us, and it's called On Stage. And the reason I'm excited is tonight kicks off that event, but I'm doing it from my home. So tonight will be the kickoff with Pat Benatar playing for us and another artist, and I can't remember who that is. And they give out all the recognition and awards for a job well done throughout the year. And last year, you all helped and supported my business and got me to the ranking of number 50 in sales out of the US. And so that was about like 35,000 demonstrators, and to rank that high is just incredible. And they only kind of gave out certain results up to a certain point. So I don't know what this year will bring, and it's a surprise, so I can't wait to sit down and see what that turns out like. But I will for sure let you guys know and keep you posted, because you are always so supportive, and I could not do this without you guys at all. I think I order a lot, but I do not order enough to put me and rank me in sales like you guys do. So that's why I'm excited. And with that, the next couple days I'll keep really busy with that same conference, doing a lot of training sessions online. And I like to let you guys know then that they will be unveiling products that will be coming out in the next occasions catalog, which will be called the January through June catalog, as well as celebration details and what they're going to be offering for celebration too. So I'm excited to learn about those two publications through the course of this conference. And yet it's kind of, it's a little like, oh, I love being able to be out there and seeing everybody. When I'm out in Salt Lake City, all of the fabulous demonstrators, but there's something nice kind of about just kicking back at home and taking it all in that way too. So they're going to have some stamping events for us, and all sorts of other things too, besides tonight's entertainment and kind of the gala feeling. So that's enough for my chiming, but I don't know if you can see it, I have my Stampin' Up t-shirt on, so I kind of feel like I'm like ready for the event. So hi Missy, hi Shelly, and hello Leah, and hello Linda. So a lot of you are joining in, so I think I'll get started with making the card. Today's card turned out way more simpler than I thought. Like, I saw this card on Pinterest and decided to copy it about 90%. So here's today's card. And the reason why I said it turned out more simple than what I thought is because I liked it and thought, well, let's copy it for everybody. I think this is a card that you guys will enjoy. I'm going to make it. And the reason it's simpler is like, wow, that like was really quick and easy, and it looked like there was more to it when I looked at the sample. And so things like that are kind of fun, because then whoever you're sending the card to will think, wow, she put a lot of effort into that, and you can kind of go, not really. So those are kind of fun cards too. Hello Pam, thanks for joining in. I hope I kind of caught everybody here too. So let me get started, and my iPad's all caught up so I can see if you guys have questions or things like that too. Whoops. And there we go. It's like it's more entertaining to see the card than my ceiling. Okay. All right, I think I got it. All right, so let me show you the card once again this way. And just so you know, as I was putting my card together, I put this upside down in comparison to the inside. And so I had to get that switched around. So I thought, man, I thought the card was simple, easy, but even that can happen to the best of us. All right, so what I want to do is show you, if you like to follow along in the catalogs to know where things are. I'm using two different stamp sets. So in the annual catalog, I am using, the main one is on page 110. And that is Forever Fern. And so that has a lot of great different images. Excuse me, let me take a drink quick. Like Shelly pointed out when she chimed in, it has been beautiful autumn days. But I feel like my throat is so dry because it's so nice outside and sunny. Okay, let me try that again. Forever Fern has some great images, and I just love that they're just kind of like ferny, green foliage type things. And then they have some great sentiments in there too. And so, thanks, Pam. Thank you very much. And then what I'm using though for my sentiment is just back a couple pages on page 107, and that is the Itty Bitty Birthdays. And so that has a lot of great sentiments that can be used both for the outsides of cards or insides of cards. So it's stamp sets like this that I just love getting, because I feel like it's going to stretch everything in your collection of crafting supplies just a little bit more, because it has so many versatile things that you can use and different font sizes and everything that way too. So that's where I'm pulling those things from. And let me get started on my quick and simple card for you guys today. So basically a lot of ink pads that are doing the work today. So let me pull my cardstock supplies, and the base is Calypso Coral. Calypso Coral is one of my favorite cardstock colors, and I just realized I have not pulled it out to use that color for a while, so I'm excited to bring that. And I think too, I've been already delving into a lot of Christmas things, fall things, Halloween, so it's time to bring you guys something a little bit more colorful, bright, and cheerful that way. And then the next layer is just plain Whisper White, and I wanted more of the Calypso Coral to show, so I actually cut my Whisper White 3.75 by 5 inches to cut it down just a little bit more to have more of that base showing. So what I'm going to do is, start by opening up my old olive ink pad, and I'm going to start with the image, the foliage image that goes up and down kind of in the center. And I'm just going to start it in the center there, tap it on my ink pad again, and kind of center it there. It is going to overlap just because I wanted that to not go quite off the paper, and same there. Because our sentiment is going to cover that up, you don't have to be worried about that when you are doing your stamping. So I'll just set that aside, make sure I don't have any ink on my fingers. And then the next color will be Crushed Curry. And kind of that same thing, I'm just going to tap and get that inked up, and that's going to go to the side of it, kind of fill in that space. And then on the bottom, that's going to go there like so, and that goes off to the side a little bit off the paper, and that's totally fine. So just a lot of easy stamping, and if you have a lot of ink pads, this will be easy to do with all sorts of combinations. Next, Calypso Coral. Hello, Brett Willoughby. How was college today? So then I'm pulling out kind of the smaller ferny looking one. And so because of that, I'm going to kind of pop it up a little bit more, but I want to make sure I don't get it too far up, because I want it to still stay tucked underneath my sentiment that I'm going to add. And then I'm going to tap that and put that down there as well. But I think it's so fun how these colors just really pop. And one of my favorite things about this whole stamp set in general is the tone, like the etching that they put in the artwork here. So you have just, you know, one color, but the darks and the lights on each of the colors is just phenomenal. So it's one of my favorite things about the whole stamp set. And I just want to make sure that this is dry before I kind of go over it all with my lighter Sahara Sand color. And this is where I always tell you guys, it stamps like these, and this is from Forever Fern. It's just those little splatter dots that, that are my favorite part of a stamp set. So I'm going to kind of just tap that and then start in the middle and go out, and then kind of in the middle and go out, because I kind of want it to be on the lighter side, not too heavy of splatter, but I kind of want it to also look filled in. So just by doing that, just really fills the whole card in by adding that look of splatter. And like I said, that's Sahara Sand. So that is that. And then next, we're ready for the sentiment. So I'm going to take my Calypso Coral ink again, And they say it's your birthday. I feel like that it should be in the inside, happy birthday to ya, because that kind of goes with the song. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up in Calypso Coral ink on some Whisper White cardstock. And I'm going to pull out some dies. So I know you guys hear a lot of these are my favorites, but this one set is one of my favorites too, Stitch So Sweetly dies. And so I'm going to use a couple of the scalloped stitched. So you get quite a few of the scalloped stitch. So I'm taking kind of from numbers 2 and 3 if I count up from the center. Of course, there's these fun other shaped ones in there too. It's a great collection. So let me set that aside and get my cutting machine out here, and I want to get my stamps out of the way. All right, so I will take a smaller frame here and just frame that. And I love it when you can easily see exactly what you're working with, so it makes it easy to center it and put it through. Hello, Deb, thank you. And I think you have the supplies probably to make all of it too. So I love that it can help you have more inspiration with things you already have. Thanks for checking in. And hello, Renee. Okay, so they say it's your birthday. We'll just pop out. There we go, of the die. You can see it cuts in that fun scallop edge and then it stitches it too, which I love. And then something that I haven't used for a while, but I love the look of vellum. So I just cut kind of a strip of vellum here, and I'm going to lay the next size of that frame right on top, no stamping there. And that's just going to add a soft look to today's card. All right, so that comes through, and same thing, that's just going to easily pop out of the vellum, and then that has that scalloped edge trim to it as well as the stitching too. So I will say, like earlier, that I copied this card, like I said, about 90% from a demonstrator. I think her name was Janet Rose. Saw it on Pinterest, and it just drew me into like the color of her inks and that combination. And I changed up, I would say about 10% of it, just to my liking. And so hopefully you'll like it too, but I will say I'm not taking the credit for all of what she did. And now I'm ready to do my assembling. So I'm just going to take my adhesive here and tape that on like so. And it doesn't matter really if it's that way or that way, just because we've kind of stamped that same layout both ways. So we have that. And now when it comes to vellum, you have to be very careful when you are putting adhesive on your vellum. Almost all adhesives that we have will show through. So you don't want to just put a whole bunch of glue on. You don't want to put glue dots. You don't want to put your adhesive on anywhere that it's going to show. So we have this imaginary block where it says they say it's your birthday. So imagine that this part of it, and actually I can just lay it right over top, and I'm going to know that I can put all of my adhesive in this amount of space here because it's not going to show. So I'm just going to put my adhesive right there, and then I can pick it up. Not that, because I'm not ready for that. And I'm just going to center that on the card. So my adhesive is on there, and it doesn't look like it's showing only because the card's pretty busy, but if you have other cards, you're gonna notice adhesive. And then the sentiment, I just want to pop that up so that that has a little bit of a lift above the vellum. I'm gonna do that with a few dimensionals here. And then that's ready to go in the center of that vellum. So the vellum just kind of adds a nice little soft touch there to it. And I always feel like the card looks a little bit more fancy or special whenever I put any type of vellum on there like that. It was really hard for me to not put some kind of, like, I thought about linen thread or even some Calypso coral ribbon or old olive ribbon, but yet I loved how the color just did this. And some of you aren't fans of ribbons, so my accessory that I'm going to use today for you guys on the front is going to be the butterfly gems. And so technically these are the in colors that came out last year, and they're good for 2 years. Hello, Cheryl. So there's the terracotta tile that's very close to it, and as well as the Rococo Rose. I think I could get away with using either of these on the card, or even if I popped on a blue or purple butterfly. I still think because it's so colorful, any of these would work. And I just love how that allows that to just kind of add that extra touch. Oh, fun. Cheryl's listening to me on her walk. Wonderful. Okay, so that is the terracotta tile one used with Calypso coral. Hi, Julie. Thanks for joining in. And thank you, Pam and Linda. So yeah, so sometimes it is the simple cards and layouts that really are the fun ones to make, because they're not so overwhelming and you kind of feel like you have a little bit of brain and time left after it's done. And let me just do a little bit on the inside. The Calypso coral is pretty light, so if you write in it, it should show up on there with your ink, but I'm just going to finish with Time to Celebrate, and that's from the Itty Bitty Birthdays 2 that I've used on the front of the card, and I stamped that out in my old olive ink pad, and I'm going to huff on my Calypso coral frond of the fern that I used on the front, and then that's going to give me kind of just a little bit of life back in that, but kind of also a little lighter look to that. Yeah, Cheryl says this is one of her favorites. I think so too. And there's so many reasons why I like it, but I really go back to, I think it's the light and the dark, just the way that they have put the artwork into making the images so in depth. So that's been really fun. All right, so we have that, and then we have the inside. Okay, let me get this switched around. And before I forget or get too busy, the technique that I just did, because I had, had the camera on my, oh my goodness, Val. There's my tripod. Okay, the technique that I just used to put that frond on the inside of my card, I said I was going to huff. So this is what it means to huff. So what I did is I didn't want a really dark image of this image on the inside of my card, but there was enough ink from already putting it on the card once, and so there's, you know, we all know there's that little bit of ink left, or quite a bit, and so just by going, the breath and moisture from your mouth will refresh what's left on the ink of the stamp, and so then you can stamp it. So sometimes if you have different projects where you just want a lighter look, you can stamp off and then stamp on a second time, and that will give you that lighter look, or just huff to do that. So that's another one of those techniques that we probably couldn't be doing at stamp camp with COVID, because who wants anybody's germs and breath on the stamp? So that's one way to keep things safe. And by the time you get the card that I made in the mail for getting a set, my germs will be gone. So, and I'm not huffing on your card, I'm huffing on the stamp. But anyway, so, all right. So that is card number 4. Those of you that get my emails, I kind of had taken off tomorrow because of the big Stampin' Up! Conference that we're participating in, starting tonight with awards, excuse me, and then Friday and Saturday. But I thought, you know what, tomorrow only goes till like 5 or something. So if I get something put together, it'll definitely be maybe even around the supper time or whatever. And I would like to do a card tomorrow. So, so I'm thinking, you know, don't hold me to it, please. But I think I kind of want to get 5 in this week. So I'm hoping that that will work. And for those of you that texted me yesterday, words of encouragement, I tore apart my craft room yesterday and it looks amazing. I went in there 3 times last night after I was done and just stood there and looked. I have a clean floor, I have clean shelves. Like, I just feel like it is so organized now that A, I don't want to stamp in there and get it messy, and B, I just want to spend all day in there because it's clean too. So yeah, there was some of you that were like, how are you coming? Or, oh my goodness, you know, and the joke was I put everything from the closet on our bed, and so I had to get it put back because otherwise we wouldn't have a place to sleep tonight. So that was kind of the joke too, and it got put back, and even my husband was like, oh my goodness, this room looks different, amazing, and much better. So, alrighty, so I will let you guys know how everything turns out. And of course, the best thing about the conference is coming up with new ideas with the new products that are coming out, so that we'll learn more about in between now and when I check in with you guys again too. So thanks so much for watching, and have a good evening, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, if not Monday. Have a good night. Bye-bye.